everybody, and welcome back to Julie's Orchids. As you can see, today we have an unboxing. So we'll get right at it. And this is been taped up very, very well. Now I got this from the last place I ordered my order from, and I was a bit upset with the last time they sent stuff to me because they packed it all in this and they broke. But so far we have an intact flask and another intact flask. And as you can see, these ones look nice and healthy. And this one is starting to get a little bit of rot, so I'll need to be unflasking this one in the next day or so. And this one looks okay, so I'm going to let this one sit and acclimatize for 2 or 3 days. This one I'm going to let acclimatize until tomorrow, and then I'm going to pot it up. So we'll be back tomorrow. Alright, well, now that we've seen the unboxing, this is several days later. What we did with the other flask, since there was some sign of rot, my stepdaughter and I immediately unflasked that and potted them up. Because she helped me do it, I could not video it. I don't feel comfortable putting my stepdaughter's likeness on the internet. So today we are going to take these out of here and bring them to life in the outside world. These have been sitting with the cap off in the space that they're going to be growing in for the last 3 days. And I've finished watering the orchids, the house chores are done, so it's time to take the babies out and put them in pots. And I thought I'd bring you guys along with me. And there's Happy girl. So with that, we'll be right back. I'm just going to reposition a few things for a little better viewing. And what we can see here is there's some pretty good roots going on. I think everything is looking fairly healthy. You can see the agar is starting to fall back. I am not going to take a hammer and break that. And you may ask me why. Why am I not going to take a hammer and break that? Because I tried to do that with the other one, and I'm a chicken, and the hardest I could thwack it with the hammer was evidently not hard enough to break the glass. And so I'm a chicken, and if it doesn't go on 1 or 2 thwacks, I'm not going to do it. This is much thicker glass than the other flask that I have that I've took a hammer to and broke. So we're going to go about it in a bit different way, and I'm going to use a bamboo skewer to break up some of the larger chunks of agar and get these babies out. Now you think, oh, that's a bit dangerous. It is a bit dangerous, but if you sit down and take your time, I was fairly successful with it the other day. With the phals Orchiata variety Tipo that my stepdaughter and I deflask. I will show you those at the end of today. So yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is kind of invert the bottle and give it a little bit of a tap, get it to break loose a bit. And then I'm going to kind of eyeball where I think there's a nice chunk in here without any roots. And we're just going to very gently kind of go in here with our bamboo skewer and try to loosen a few things up. There's a root right there. It's kind of bad from this angle. And give it a little bit of a break here. And then we'll just kind of turn around this way, come at this side a little bit, break some of the little looser bits up at the top, and come in through here. And this is fairly time-consuming process, so we're just kind of going around different areas of the flask, just trying to get a little bit of this agar a bit looser. Give it a bit of a shake. Oh, I can see there's a few little bits, areas of rot in here as well, brown dead leaves. So it's a good thing I'm getting this out of here today. And let's see, have we loosened anything up enough to get it out? Nice that these ones have good long leaves. And there's our first little baby out. You can see it's, I don't know, it's looking too very shabby. Looks like there's some dead roots underneath there, but this one seems to be okay. There's a big glop of agar there, so I'm just going to put this in some filtered water. And we'll kind of agitate these to get that agar off. All right, that's the first one. And again, just going to kind of try to pick out some areas here. Can't see because of the label. And it seems I've broken a root. This isn't the best way to go about doing it. Don't be a complete wuss. Take a hammer and try to thwack it, but I'm a complete wuss. And trying to break this with a hammer just was too much for me. You know, I had it wrapped up in a kitchen towel, so I wasn't really worried about that. It's just the loud thwack that kind of makes me a bit nervous. And let's see here. Even little bits of the agar coming loose from the roots does seem to help. And we've got a nicer area here. A little chunk out. All right, I've got a nice piece loosened right here. And I think I've loosened, nope, haven't loosened that one up any. And I'm not forcing anything, I'm just kind of teasing it around in here a bit. And this one could come out. And again. So I think you guys are getting the general idea of how I'm going about this. And it's much easier to do it from the other vantage point. But here we can see, got some roots there. Just breaking the agar up just a bit. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on pause. And I'm going to work at getting all of these little babies out of this bottle. Otherwise this is going to be an exceptionally long video. You guys are getting the general idea on how I'm very gently putting the bamboo screw in there to break the agar apart and then pulling one by one the little babies out. All right, I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, so I just wanted to show you how after you get quite a big chunk of that agar out, it's a bit easier to start fishing the little ones out, that you can kind of stick your finger in and find pieces that you can maybe pull out gently, and if you can't, you just sort of fish around in there and find another one that you can pull out a bit easily. And there we go, that one. So I'll just kind of try to get the agar off, and I'm not going to worry super hard about doing it because we're going to be rinsing them off in that bowl of distilled water. I've got a little chunk that's come out right here. And there's several of these little babies all sort of stuck together, as you can see. Just gently kind of giving the agar a little bit of a squish. It tends to just fall off quite nicely. The roots can very gently be detangled. And you can see that was one nice little plant there. Another little plant here. We've got possibly two right here. But I'm not going to force this one too much. And again, I'm just going to stick it into the agar and Then we'll show you how you clean them up. I don't really like pulling them by their roots. If I can get kind of a chunk like this and pull it gently out. And that's going to bring several with it. And let's just get the rest of these on out of here. So there we go. We've got all the little babies born. You can see a little bit of rot going on. That's okay, because we're going to take care of that. We're going to clean up the dead bits and all of that. And there's varying different sizes of it. This one's, I think, root's dead. Again, we'll just let everything sit in here and soak for a few minutes and try to get this agar off. So we'll be right back. I'm going to do a quick cleanup and then we'll work on cleaning the little babies. So we've had these little guys just sitting in this distilled water, just kind of give them a little move around. You can see the old agar is coming off a little bit, and you know, we'll just kind of give them a gentle little squiz here and there. Now I am seeing that there's some dead stuff, you know. That little thing there is very obviously dead, that little root. I'm just going to pluck that off, pull that little leaf off. The rest of this one, get the agar off. It's kind of stuck pretty hard on the leaf. And I'm going to separate these by size. This is a little one. I don't have much hopes for this one. And let's go for one of our bigger ones. So this is one of the nice bigger ones, but this leaf has been quite damaged, and I think that's been well before my unflasking, as you can see the bin there. And it's starting to look a bit weak, so I am just going to pour that off. Don't see much of anything else dead in here. That one's a little bit bent too, but I'm going to leave that put. That's a nice sized one. Decent sized roots. And then this one has got some really massive, nice long roots. Beautiful long, look at the size of that. This one is going to get its own little special pot. That little dead thing right here. And I'm just going to again let them lay off here to soak. And like I said, this little bit of dead stuff right here, just pull that off. If it pulls too hard to pull off and doesn't come off really easily, I leave it. I just leave it, and that looks pretty good. So these were supposed to have 20 to 25 plants in the flask. I'm not thinking it looks like it's got that many. I don't really know what to do with this fruit. That looks like it's dying. I'm going to err on the side of caution, and I'm just going to leave that one put. That one's definitely dead. This little thing here is... We'll gently place that down right over here. And again, this is another beautiful, nice, strong looking one. You can even see a bit of the verlamen on the roots here. There's one little dead leaf here. I'm just going to pull that one off gently. And I might try to get this one off here gently as well too. No, that's a root. And this, I have a feeling, is several little plants maybe all stuck together. Perhaps I'm wrong, but yeah, that's a little tiny dinky baby one. I can go over here. I can go along with that other little dinky tiny baby one. And just pull some of these dead leaves here off. Again, I still think this one here is its own little plant and that one there is its own little plant, but I think I would hurt it too bad if I tried to separate the roots. They're really pretty tangled, so I'm going to leave these kind of just as we see them. And this one don't know what to think about that leaf, so I'm just going to gently pinch it off. That leaf was pretty well rotting on the way down, so get rid of it. And this little one here. Okay, well there we have it, and as you can see I did break a few roots here or there. Some of the roots were rotten, so like that little one there, I went ahead and pulled those off. And now we're going to get ready to put these babies into some little pots, and that will require a change in setup. And today we're going to be using a mixture of small Orchiata bark with Perlite Vermiculite and some sphagnum moss that I've pre-moistened and have cut up into small strips. I'll be using a varying amount of different sizes of pots, as we have varying sizes of little babies to put into pots. And I'm going to drop some Orchiata bark. More like carefully placing the Orchiata bark. And I'm not crushing it down, I'm just laying it gently on top. Just mostly to create a cover like that. And for the bigger ones, I've got these pots that I've bleached, boiled, and cleaned. And again, we're going to use some of the bigger ones, and I'm going to plant these up individually. But you can see that might be a little bit big of a pot, but I'm going to go for it. And again, we're just going to do the layer of perlite and Orchiata bark. And then a little bit of spag moss. And I'm not going to be super worried about this being in the middle of the pot, because I don't want to put these roots through too much. We're just going to kind of rest a little bit right here, just to keep them a bit good. And then I'm going to use, again, just the Orchiata bark. And again, I'm not compressing anything down, but I am sort of lifting up the leaves and getting the bark down by those roots, so that the leaves can stay up and the roots can hopefully stay a bit under some moisture retention. Now I am not putting any slow release fertilizer or anything in these yet. What I'm doing with my other set is I have left them to just acclimatize and get used to life here before I shock them any further with fertilizer. I've decided I'm just going to bite the bullet, and I have already purchased a TDS and pH meter because I hadn't been doing that with my water beforehand. But with these babies, we're going to give that a go. So that's the basic gist of what I'm going to do with these. I'll show you one more potting up of one of the bigger ones, and then I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. And one more of the little baby ones for you. Alrighty, so this is the finished product. There was 22